We will guide.
Welcome. You can't make this shit up. Absolutely wonderful here at the Oxford Sports Pub and Secret Society. David is our host, and I'm Joel. Listen, you can't make this shit up, I am in an extremely good mood. I just had an awesome podcast prior to this, and I hope everybody will keep an eye out for the Morning Constitution. Rusty Roberts was a phenomenal guest. And I'm going to pitch myself for the first time,
All right,
and then I'm going to pitch you later because I know your guest is a little under the weather today.
Yes,
so
he is.
We'll work on that to make your show just as successful as it always is.
Awesome sauce.
So I'm Joel Hoxley, like I said before, and this is the You Can't Make This Shit Up.
Can't.
And we're going to talk about. So this is an area where would be very, very interesting. We're going to talk about something that a Republican is introduced in the legislature because they're in session now.
Yes.
And as a Republican, I'm going to actually not support. I'm going to be Newt Gingrich right now. I'm going to be anti this bill that is being introduced. To me, makes absolutely no sense. And you know me, I'm a constitutionalist.
Correct.
So I'm going to blast my own party today. And unfortunately, if Senator Broder wants to call me, I mean, it's a man who only shows up when he wants to vote. So I'm telling you, I'm going to call it out. I'm tired. You know, he gives a lot of money to the party, but you don't censor, not censure. It's censor the media. You don't make it easier to the media needs to be able to speak its mind. You don't just, hey, let's make it easier to sue them because they're talking bad about me, or to say, we're going to talk about what is a journalist.
Well, give us some background. What exactly did the good state senator Jason Brodeur of St. Mary, not St. Mary, is it the town of?
I know he's Sanford. I know he's
Mary something. I can't remember. It's in my notes somewhere. But Lake Mary.
Lake Mary.
Mary, thank you. I don't know why I was thinking St. Mary.
I was going to say, I'm trying to think. Like, you got a guy that lives right there because walked in the door. So I mean, come on, like.
So Jason Brodeur, state senator Jason Brodeur of Lake Mary here in Florida.
How do you want me to set this up? I mean, there's several ways I could do this.
Well,
I could do the Democratic. I could do the Democrat view of Jason Brodeur, the evil senator, the evil senator who had a ghost candidate run. And
what the bill, the Senate bill
1316, but that's the second bill. That's the second bill.
Okay.
If I had a chance to look it up, I would. There's a bill that he introduced prior to that makes it easier to sue the media. And now he's come out with a bill to register bloggers.
Okay.
Now, the register bloggers is what we're going to talk about because that's the one that's getting the biggest heat.
Right.
The other one, whether it passes or not. But remember,
he was the sponsor of the one to sue the media.
Yeah. So this is the second media bill he's come up with. So
Jason. Jason
is it's retaliatory in a way because he's been getting a lot of bad press, but he wants to expose. This is what he says, right? I want to expose those that are blogging, that are getting paid for it because it's political money being spent on politics, and they should be registered. So
Right.
if you talk bad about the governor, or you talk bad about a senator, if you talk about these people, you have to register because you're registering like a lobbyist.
So
And then you
if-
can get fined. You can get fined up to $2,500. I guess if you're breaking some rules or something, and it goes into the same fund as the lobbyist.
so as a political consultant, I can, if let's say a candidate, Joe Smith, wants to run against Senator Brodeur in the next election, and Joe Smith comes to me and say, "Hey, I know you do a podcast, I know you do a blog, et cetera, et cetera. I want to pay you to write negative things
Oh, yeah.
about Brodeur
Hey, these are
and
things that
positive things about."
these are the things I cannot
Joe
say.
Smith.
Okay, these are the things I can't say because if I say them, it just looks like spoiled milk, right? It's just not going to go very well. So
Okay.
what I want to do is I want to pay you to tell this story. I want you to tell the story of, the time that this person and Joel Greenberg. That's a great one, right? Just put Joel Greenberg in the same sentence,
Right.
and then you're going to win, 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 win. So, like, people may know, and I have to be careful with these things, but there's an individual who is very notorious for doing this for Republicans, and he's a friend, so I'm not going to call him out because Jacob is my goodness, so Jacob does write, and he does get major money given to him for advertising that helps him write the opinion that he leans towards, because he leans towards the opinion that pays the most money. Yeah, and so listen. The audience is going to try to remind us that Jason Brodeur only wrote him a check for $37,000. But I was going to get to that later. But since the audience is like freaking out that I'm not saying it right now, listen, they pay to play. So I don't want the pay to play anymore.
Okay.
Because I've used it already. Let's shut it down.
Okay.
So let's shut it down. Let's make sure but if you're a legitimate news source, you don't have to register.
Correct. That's correct.
If my name was if my name was Tucker Carlson and I work for Fox, if I blog, I don't have to register.
Right.
Even though I'm really just an entertainer. I'm not a news person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like Tucker's going all out on this January 6th thing now. It's going to be fun. McCarthy just revealed all that stuff. But get back on topic. What is a journalist? This is what always puzzled me. Mm-hmm. Are we now journalists because we are podcasting? Am I now violating a future rule because I'm talking negative about Senator Jason Brodeur? Because I think this legislation, for me, the First Amendment is very clear.
Correct.
And this is a new medium, and you don't have control over it, and it's starting to kick you in the ass, and it's really bothering you. Well, guess what? Let it bother you.
Mm-hmm.
Let it bother you. And you know what? You speak out against it when it's wrong. But if it's flat out liable, then take them to court. But to register? Why should I register to open my freaking mouth?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
Okay. All right. And as a First Amendment advocate,
big time,
to remind the public, the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment says it provides that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. It protects freedom of speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for redress of grievances.
Yeah, so I love it. I mean, I am a defender of the First Amendment. I used to think that the Democrats were always very, very protective of the First Amendment until they came out with hate law, and they hate speech and all this other stuff. I was like, we can't. Neither side can get this thing right. Neither side can actually face the fact that we have the right to insult you and you have the right to insult me. So please call me a name. I really don't care. Mm-hmm. It might bother me for a second. Burn my flag. It will bother me.
Just protect this speech.
But guess what? it's protected
Is it-
speech. And as long as the,
government cannot impede our
right now,
freedom of speech. However, there are consequences
now,
too.
if Brodeur was the CEO of a private company and he wanted to say that anybody who blogs in my company has to register with the executive board, that's different.
It's different, right?
Right? Yes,
right.
that speech is not protected by the
Right.
Constitution.
Exactly.
That is your business. And that's, you know me again, business needs to be
Right.
separate from government. Government and business, they can work together, but they're run totally different. You can run your business the way you want to,
Mhm.
unless you break the freaking law.
Okay, so I think you may be a little surprised in the stance that I'm taking here. And first, and walk down this path with me. First,
Am I going to trip?
you may trip.
Okay.
First, I support what the Republicans are doing because one, they're in power.
Mega power.
Mega power. Oh, yes, mega power. And as they've stated publicly, we're going to do whatever we want to do or something similar to that. And again, I am smarting. I am pissed off how the elections went for the progressives and liberals here in Florida.
I mean, all those people that showed up on election day and made sure that they lost.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, that's not what they did. They
Exactly.
didn't show up. And
They didn't show up. And so, I have this passion for what I do and what we do together and getting good people elected. And I felt, I believe, and I know that good people were not elected in this last election. And saying that, I still have that, that fire. I don't see that in a lot of Democrats right now, a lot of elected Democrats right now, taking their selfies again on the first day of the legislative session. You shouldn't be smiling. You should be angry at what you're about to face in the next 60 days. So saying that, I respect the game. I respect what the Republicans are doing because they are going to shove it down the Democrats' throats and they're going to walk away happy with the results. Now, Senator Brodeur's bill putting restrictions on bloggers. Walk down this path with me. So the bill says that bloggers who are paid by certain interests need to register. And I saw his response to some of his critics, like Congressman Gingrich. And at first I was like, that's bullshit. But then I thought, wait a second. We have political committees, political action committees, who are funded to work on behalf of a cause, for or against. They advocate for a particular candidate or they don't. And so seeing that, if a blogger is paid by, and I'm using my example again,
Senator Jason Brodeur.
Senator Jason Brodeur, okay, to push Senator Brodeur's agenda or to say positive or negative things about a particular candidate or issue, I believe that should be disclosed. That should be transparent.
So I'm going to agree with you.
As PCs and
I'm going to agree
PACs
with
are registered.
Yep. And I'm going to agree with you.
I see the line of thinking.
But I'm going to back up and say, Senator Brodeur, this is where you actually say a candidate must report exactly what they're paying to a blogger to say about them. It's your responsibility, not the blogger's responsibility. It's your responsibility to report it. And if you don't, then make it a fine, make it a strict fine that the politician broke the rule.
I thought it was the blogger who had to.
Yes, I'm saying.
Register.
I'm saying what we should be doing is we should be talking about how you report it, right? You're paying for it. If you're in the lobby business for if you're in the lobby business for anything, you have to register those things. You write those things down, report it properly. Tell me that you're paying Jason you're paying,
David
Ingalls to write the story, right?
Mhm.
Make sure that you say this is not. Don't say it was advertising. Say I paid Central Florida Post to write story. I mean, just put it
Yeah.
out there. This
Right.
that I paid for this copy
Mhm.
to be posted.
And the campaign finance laws
That's
is
what I'm
very
saying. That's where-
gray.
That's
you don't
where you-
have to give those specifics.
But that's where you need to be.
But if
If you
Jason
want-
pays, J&W for
Great
media
press. Okay, we're going to take everything back.
advertisement or marketing, we don't have to say, oh,
No,
it's
it-
because we wrote this article or,
Or we
we
paid-
had this podcast promoting the
we paid
virtues of
paid
Senator
10
Brodeur.
we paid 10 bloggers to write stories that absolutely
have we done that?
not yet. No, not yet. But I'm thinking about it now. I mean, might as well. I mean, the reporting laws are the problem, not the blogger themselves. The blogger's making money.
I mean, in the end, this will work against Brodeur and his party.
But it
It'll have
hurts
some
the party.
negative repercussions.
It hurts the party because this is just not good press. This is not the way you're looking vindictive instead of looking like you're a smart individual that you are.
It's
And
like
then
a-
you're
put
ti-
their
you're
boot
ti-
on people's necks. That's what it looks like it to me.
Listen, listen. I don't live in a dictatorship, or at least not yet.
Not yet.
But if Jason goes down this road, I see no difference. I see no difference.
Next they'll be talking about eliminating the Democratic Party from the political landscape here in Florida.
Wait, they've already done that.
Whoops.
Now I compliment. No,
ultimate.
now wait a minute. I compliment this one.
asshole.
Listen, I am big time on this. Any party that ever supported slavery should not be a political party in existence in the state of Florida. I believe that to be so right. I mean, come on.
That is right.
I mean,
Extreme
let's go really at them. Like, let's make sure.
That's
And they can
definitely
be
putting
any.
their
They can
boot
call
on the
themselves
neck.
anything, but they can't call themselves Democrats, right?
Yep. They will not be able to call themselves Democratic.
And then when we talk about the Ocoee elections, we can talk about the actual Ocoee massacre and talk about what it really was: a bunch of Democrats beating and killing black people. Like, I'm sorry, there was Democrat Party at the
Democrats of
time,
old. The
That's what I'm
Democrats of
saying.
old, yes.
and that's what this is like.
Let's qualify
is
that. The Democrats
basically-
of old.
Blaze is really sending a message, and it's just a message.
Sure.
And it's great PR because basically
Sure.
you're saying, remember your history before you take down our statues. Remember your history before you
But do you really want statues of traitors in your parks?
listen. This is
I
a difference.
mean-
That's a conversation for later. That's a conversation for later because that's a great topic, and I think that's a one-on-one topic.
I mean, I like to celebrate winning. That's what we do. We win.
Well, how about those?
Why
that-
celebrate losers? I
yeah,
just
but
don't
what
get
about?
it.
But what about? Now I'm going to go a little further.
Okay.
So those Confederates that did awesome, incredible things before the war, before the Civil War, how do you recognize them? How do you recognize their accomplishments? How do you say
In a
the general
textbook,
that you said that
in
you
their
say
whole history.
that General Lee won many a battle before he started battling his own people from West Point? I mean, come on now. They all went to school together. They all knew their tactics. Why do you think that Abraham Lincoln had to fire so many generals? Because
and
they
there
all
were winners and there were losers.
And guess who was winning?
we celebrate the
Guess who was
grants,
winning?
and the losers.
But let's
like
talk about
Lee
the
are
Civil
laid
War.
to rest.
Let's talk about the Civil War. Who was winning the Civil War?
I believe the United States of America
The South was
won
winning. They were
the
winning.
Civil War.
They were winning and winning and winning.
The end
It
game,
wasn't.
the end game.
The end game came.
The
So
North won.
there you go. Okay, I'm with you, but I'm saying you're talking about losers. Some of these you can talk about battles, and you can say, "My goodness,
All right,
Lee
okay.
won some big battles."
You know, Hitler was a half-ass artist. Wow. Okay, let's celebrate that.
not
He was a
saying-
great party leader. Wow.
I love
Oh,
it.
wait a
Wait,
second.
He's getting
Wait a
passionate. I
second.
love it.
he caused the Holocaust. He massacred.
This is a joke. This is a
millions.
joke coming out of my mouth right now because I'm going to say something.
Come on,
But
Joe.
how do you know that?
But he lost.
How
to
do you
the
know?
Allies.
Were there any pictures
I'm
of
not
that?
going to celebrate a loser, the biggest loser. And no.
I'm talking about
Tear
this
them
is
down, chop them up. We can talk about, read about, the losers of the Civil War in our textbooks. Is Ron DeSantis going to allow that, or is he going to take out the winners?
Oh, here you go.
And promote the losers.
Here you go. I knew we'd have a Ron DeSantis.
Who lost the World
you know,
Series last year?
I
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I know who won. Houston. How about in 2008? Who won the World Series then? Chicago White Sox. Who did they play? I don't care. Houston. I don't care, but I celebrate winners.
Okay, so let me tell you
It's
something.
like me saying
So let
from
me
the
tell
south
you-
side of Chicago. It's like me saying
So let me tell you
Go
something.
Cubs.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to be Toronto Blue Jays. When they went to the World Series for the first time, they beat the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves got their asses handed to them. Then the next year, they went straight back, and the Atlanta Braves lost to the Phillies, and the Phillies ended up going. So you know what? I know who we beat because I want to make sure that they know Atlanta, Philly, you freaking didn't beat my team.
They're footnotes in history.
Yeah, they're footnotes, but they're good. Listen, I can have a lot of fun with those two teams right now, especially since CNN was owning, since CNN owned the freaking Atlanta Braves at the time.
Oh, jeez.
I love it. I mean,
So,
come on, you can't have
but,
this kind of fun anywhere else.
So I mean, you're laying into Brodeur,
And you're being so nice to him. Let's just be kind to it.
it's not that I'm being
But
nice, but I see the bigger picture. I'm trying to
And
learn
I'm not saying, and I'm not
from
saying
what the Republicans are doing, so that when I do what I do as a political consultant, that that we're better and that we continue to win. That's what I'm saying.
well, I'm going to win
I
because
I respect the game.
I'm going to win
respect
because
the game.
I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk about, our Constitution. I'm going to talk
Yep.
about the 10th Amendment,
Mhm.
which I think that the 10th Amendment is very important, and people realize that the states have their own authority.
That's correct.
That if it's not in the Constitution, it's ours.
Yep.
So abortion and these different things that I'm going to talk about, the gun, the guns that what's not covered in the Constitution.
And I came a
This is
long
where-
way to understand the 10th Amendment, just listening and reading and you guiding me in that direction. Yeah, the 10th Amendment is
If it's not,
spot on.
if it's not enumerated in the Constitution, it is the state's right to do what it does. Now, whether you like that or not, that's why we have a wonderful Constitution, because it's amendable. We have learned from our mistakes. We fix our mistakes. A black person is no longer counted in a portion. They're full on one human being. We learned that was awful math.
Mhm.
So listen, math is horrible anyways, but when you have to try to find out what
Good
one-fifth,
Lord,
one-fifth,
oh my
3/5 of a
God.
person, like,
How do we do this?
wait, did you have 2 ears at the time that you were counted, or did you only have one?
Good Lord.
So I'm going crazy, but no, the Confederacy, I understand what you're going there, but it's like, these are just stunts. Certain ones are just stunts.
Yeah.
But this one, the blogger one, should have been put in a different direction. It should have been it should be on the politician. The onus should be on those that are paying the money, not the blogger. The blogger, it's, to me, it's the opposite way.
And they may be stunts. However, for me, it's again another alarm, another wake up call. Like, Dems, liberals, progressives, get your shit together, because it may be a stunt. The ultimate cancel act. It may be a stunt, but hey,
How
however,
popular?
get your act together.
Anna
folks.
Eskamani is very popular. She is hugely popular, and she gets absolutely nothing accomplished. She is just a very loud. Even her laugh, you can know her laugh from a million miles away, but she gets people riled up. That's a great point. But if she had the people to support her
Thank you.
ideas, it's a whole different ballgame up there.
Thank you.
Now I'm scared of Anna Eskamani. I'm not scared of Anna Eskamani. I love Anna Eskamani. I think she's the greatest thing for fundraising. I can raise so much money every time she opens her mouth.
That's true.
That's the difference. She can't get anything done. They can. These stunts make a big difference.
Yes, they do.
And when you put the Republican Party on its heels, making it look like we don't know what the Constitution says, that makes me nervous.
And and maybe I've been asleep too long. I need my 5 hours of sleep. I'm not seeing the Democrats hitting hard and putting the Republicans on their heels.
Name one bill that has been introduced by a Democrat that has gotten reported.
Well, we talked about Representative Joanna Lopez's bill, free education credits for victims of
we talked
domestic
about
violence. Yeah,
but was that big? Was that hugely reported?
No,
it's not going to go anywhere.
And there's no other.
We didn't even have to mention it, but we did because we happen to know, Lopez, and and we.
Right. And, I mean, I've seen other bills.
What kind of relationship we have with her is different. We don't. It's not a client.
But I haven't. I've seen other recommendations, but
if there's a Democrat out there being touted for a bill that they're sponsoring, they're not going to get reelected because you Democrats will eat that person alive, just like you have in the past.
Representative Daisy Morales.
Oh my goodness, what about Daisy? Daisy actually agreed with the Republicans a couple of times, and the Democrats literally ate her up. Yeah. You guys are vicious.
That's true.
We just make them fade into history. We send them to jail and only give them 10 years instead of the 12 that they're supposed to. So
yeah, Daisy was ostracized by supporters of the Democratic Party, and
the progressives said she agreed with the Republicans and she voted on bills
too often. And
hey, she couldn't even put the flags in her office on the right side, so I'm not going to talk.
So
no, that's little things that Joel noticed. It's like if you take a picture in your office, and I can tell whether the camera's backwards or not, and I could say, why are the flags on the wrong side? Did she flip the camera? And you go, no. Even if she flipped the camera, that's still wrong. You know, it's like it's on the right. So if it'd be on the left, behind you, it's on the left. If it's in front of you, it's on the right. So it's everybody gets it wrong. I mean, but at least they're not like the Atlanta Braves who take a national flag from Canada and hang it upside down, because don't maple leaves hang off trees? That Sergeant Major got fired, I'll tell you that. So
the next 59 days in Tallahassee are going to be fascinating, and this may be the foundation, the framework of
but if you're not paying attention,
Governor DeSantis's presidential run.
The governor needs to be careful also with what his party is giving him, right? And I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I have a lot of respect for the governor. I think he's doing a great job. I think he gets misrepresented on this book thing because this is a certain group of people. It's a whole nother conversation. But DeSantis truly in his heart believes that Florida is number one, is a leading state in the nation, because we don't play with freedom. We don't take freedoms away. And yet our young people are feeling that that's not the case. And that's because parents are pushing an agenda. So that's Moms for Liberty. I know Drake's wife's going to be hating my life right now, but it's like, come on, you have to have some common sense when you go in and you say, listen, we want to do X.
Mhm.
Make sure X isn't what the Nazis did, burning books, okay? Because that's where it's going to end up. Like, you take literature, like, we have a freedom of speech. You can say anything you want, and parents start raising your children. If you know the book has something in it that's inappropriate for your children, tell them you can't read this book, because they're going to read it behind your back anyway.
Wait. What's a book? I know of the internet. Kids have their phones. I
Yeah.
mean, this argument is,
You
about
can
the
read
books.
you can read a
What's on
book.
school? They still call school libraries. I thought they're like media centers. There's computers, laptops, tablets, access to the world. I mean, a kid.
Listen,
I think is
just because it
again,
says-
another argument
Just because it says,
to rile up people.
hey, click this button if you're over 18. How many 16-year-olds or 12-year-olds have clicked that button and kept on going? Like, come on, parents. You should not there should not be a child in your house that has a computer that doesn't face where you can see it. If you can walk by and you can't see that screen, then you're just you got to keep your eye on it, because these people are predators. They're out there. They're going to your kids are going to get wrapped up in it. They don't
They're
know who
on
these people.
Roblox, TikTok, HBO Max.
I wish they were.
They're just so Disney Plus.
I wish Roblox was like. I wish Roblox
avenues
were
for
like
kids to be exposed to.
like a name like
all this
Roblox.
stuff.
It should be
Come
a
on.
stopping point. No, this
Right.
is an open door thing.
So hopefully, Senator Brodeur will pull his
I would like it if
his
he would,
bill.
I
Is
would,
that what you're
I would
hoping?
like him to. I would like him to pull his bill and have his bill directly go after the reporting. Let's get better with forcing our candidates to reveal those things.
Hey,
Before you go,
don't make my job too hard. Jason,
no.
please.
Yes. Please make it harder, because you're spending money on a treasurer that treasurer needs to be telling us what's being spent.
That's
right?
true.
And now, if you're hiring Jay in Washington, now you hire us
Mhm.
and you pay us for something, then we might be a little
Report
bit, hey, report it,
Report it.
because I don't have a problem. I don't care if I'm on a Republican report or on a Democrat report, because if you want something, I'm going to get it for you. And if you pay well, then I definitely need you, because I ain't making no money sitting here talking on about Jason, because now all Jason Brodeur's fans are going to say, Joel's not a Republican, he's a rhino. And I'll say, no, you guys are rhinos, because you don't read the Constitution. But thank you very much, David, for having this offered on the table, so I could actually get myself in trouble today. Thank you. Because you can't make this shit up.
Anything to help out. Hey, and please, we like to know what you have to say, what your comments are. Tell us what you think. Let us know if we're right or wrong or in between. Please like, share, hit the notification button. I know you all are watching. Thank you. You can't make this shit up.
Can't make it up.